qaala'insi jireenyaa wanko waan asinitti ganaatti fufa. Dhageessani? Nirmi baafadhaa ganaatti fufa. Assalaamu alaykum. Assalaamu alaykum.
Kiisiin namoota keenya arcaasaa oola uraadha.
ለኦሮሞዎች የምንለው ምንድነው? እኔ ስለ እስልምና ብዙ መናገር የጀመርኩት ከጎንደር የመጣ ጓደኛ ስላገኘው እኔ ባለውበት 99% ሙስሊም ነው። ስለዚህ ማንም ሰው ደፍሮ ቀና አይልም። በሜንጫ አንገቱን ነው ማለት አላሁ አክበር እንደገለቶማ ነገያና ጅራዳ ሲል ይጃለን።
Dozens of Ethiopian Christians massacred by Oromo Muslims of the genocidal Nobel Peace Laureate Prime Monster, Abiy Ahmed. Over 40 Orthodox Christians massacred. The 101-year-old St. Gabriel Church in the Asko District was torched. 280 houses of Orthodox Christians are burned. The Oromo Jihadists also looted properties and livestock of the victims. Arsi and Oromia Region of Ethiopia continues to be a place of brutal killings against Orthodox Christians. A new wave of deadly violence has swept through Ethiopia's East Arsi zone in Oromia Region, leaving several people dead, churches destroyed, and hundreds of residents fleeing into nearby forests in what community leaders and religious authorities describe as an escalating security crisis targeting Christians. According to reports from affected communities, armed attacks began on May 30, 2026 in remote localities around Teleta Gebriel in Aseko District before spreading to neighboring areas, forcing residents to abandon their homes amid fears of further violence. Witnesses said that attackers burned churches, destroyed property, and targeted villages, prompting many families to seek refuge in forests and remote areas for safety. The latest violence comes barely 3 months after a series of deadly attacks in East Arsi and neighboring districts left dozens of civilians dead, many of them members of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Several other Orthodox Christians are reportedly missing, likely to be killed. According to credible sources, the incident started since the eve of what many observers and critical voices described as a sham election. St. Gabriel Church in the district was torched with fire and reduced to ashes. It is said to be over 100 years old church. A letter sent from the diocese to the Patriarchate has confirmed the incident. The diocese described the circumstances of the killings in Teleta Gebriel as shocking and inhuman. More than 280 households in the area are displaced as the gunmen overpowered the villagers to go on a killing rampage and burn properties. In Kore Kuftili locality, a facility the Holy Savior Church has been using for various spiritual functions and as guest house is destroyed, according to the diocese. It continued on the fake election day as the genocidal fascist Oromo Islamic regime's officials intentionally stopped to dispatch security personnel to the areas impacted by the latest attacks from militant gunmen whose actions is believed to be motivated by an ethnic religious fanaticism. The state-sponsored terrorist attack is extensive and large-scale. The genocidal regime-affiliated Oromo Jihadists operate in alliance with, and under the sponsorship of the fascist Oromo Islamic regime. Hundreds of residential homes destroyed as the gunmen torched the villages where the Orthodox Christians have been living. Those attacks prompted widespread condemnation from religious leaders, civil society organizations and human rights groups. Responding to the latest bloodshed, the Patriarch of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Abuna Matthias issued a strongly worded appeal to authorities, calling for urgent intervention to stop the recurring attacks and hold perpetrators accountable. In a statement issued on June 3, the Patriarch condemned the violence reported in Aseko, Shirka, Honkolo Wabe and Munisa districts of the Arsi zone, warning that continued attacks against civilians were deepening fear and instability in the region. The church leader urged authorities to break this chain of attacks and bring the perpetrators to justice, stressing that repeated incidents were causing immense suffering among local communities. His remarks echo earlier calls by the Permanent Synod of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Interreligious Council of Ethiopia and the Ethiopian Islamic Affairs Supreme Council, which previously condemned killings in East Arsi and demanded swift investigations and accountability. The latest attacks highlight the continuing security challenges facing parts of Oromia despite ongoing government efforts to stabilize conflict-affected areas. In the early years of the genocidal Nobel Peace Laureate Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's terms in office, the massacre of civilians, and mostly Orthodox Christians, was focused on the Welega area of the Oromia region. Tens of thousands of civilians were killed. No formal investigations into these nationwide genocidal attacks and accountability for them. The rest of Oromia region has also experienced killings of Orthodox Christians. However, the one in Arsi has been recurring very frequently, particularly targeting Orthodox Christians. In March this year, over 34 Orthodox Christians were massacred in Oromo Muslim-dominated region of Arsi, several others wounded. Hundreds displaced. There has been what appears to be an orchestrated and planned massacres in the Oromia region for over several years now. Today, the deadliest country no one wants to report truthfully about is Ethiopia. Since the beginning of the genocidal jihad against the ancient Ethiopian Christians of the northern regions of Tigray, Amhara and Afar in November 2020 till today, 1.5 million Orthodox Christians were brutally massacred. 200,000 Orthodox Christian women, children and nuns were raped and abused. Over 1 million Ethiopians were forced to migrate to other countries. 4 million internally displaced people severely impacted by conflict, hostilities and climate shocks. Over 1 million female Ethiopian slaves were sold to Arab countries. 20 million Ethiopian are forced to experience food insecurity. By the fascist Islamo-Protestant, Oromo Army of the Prosperity Gospel heretic and crypto-Muslim Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, and his UN, Arab, Israeli, Turkish, Iranian, European, American, Russian, Ukrainian, African allies.